Welcome to Student Spotlights, a presentation of College Success Arizona. This program features the hardworking college students who have earned scholarships from College Success Arizona and are pursuing their educational goals and career passions. Today on Student Spotlight, we interview Josh Brown.
I was born and raised here in Peoria in Phoenix.
And how old are you now?
I'm 20.
And where did you graduate from high school?
Centennial High School.
And what are you doing so far as your college education? Where are you attending school, and what is your course of study?
Right now, I'm still at GCC, Glendale Community College, but I only have a semester left. My major is sociology. I'm not quite sure what field of sociology I'm going to go into. That I'm still working out, but right now I'm kind of finishing out the prerequisites for a master's degree in sociology, and then after that I plan to move on to ASUS.
So you are just wrapping up your second year at Glendale Community College?
Correct, yeah.
And when you transfer to ASU, that'll be, what, 2 more years for your bachelor's?
Maybe a little bit longer, I think, because I want to get my master's, so there might be another year or two added on to that study.
So ultimately, you will have a bachelor's degree in sociology and hopefully a master's degree in sociology?
Hopefully, yes.
Ultimately, what do you want to do for a job? What is your career goal?
Like I said, I'm not entirely confident on what field I'd like to go into. Right now, I'm kind of bouncing between a job in media research. I'm working for a research company or working for a research center, or going into some kind of field of marketing, working for a marketing company or firm.
A degree in sociology, because I think when people hear that, they think social worker, but we're not talking about that, are we?
No, though, a lot of sociologists do go into social work. Which is kind of one of the high things on the list when I first started getting into this, and I was talking with my sociology professor about it, asking him what kind of careers. Social work is very high on the list, but that's just not what I'm interested in doing.
Maybe in a simple sort of definition, is sociology sort of the study of human behavior?
It's the study of human behavior on a societal level. So instead of studying individuals, sociologists kind of just study people as groups, as clusters in a way. We don't look at individual behavior, but we look at how society works as a whole and the values of an entire society and how that influences their decisions and influences how the people within those societies are raised and act.
And where does your interest come from? How long have you had a desire to work in sociology?
It's only actually been not that long. When I first started at GCC, I wanted to major in journalism, but I ended up being on the newspaper staff at GCC, and I didn't enjoy it too much, not because of them, just because I just personally didn't end up enjoying it as much as I thought. And at the same time, I was taking an intro to sociology course, and I really enjoyed the teacher. I really enjoyed the class. And a lot of the things that we were studying were just things that I was interested in. A lot of questions I had about, I guess, the world and about different things were kind of coming into light, stuff that I had always wanted to study or was interested in, but had never found a class that addressed them. And so I kind of just spent a lot of time thinking about it and thinking, I understand it. I really enjoy learning about it, and it's stuff that I have a particular interest in. And so that's when I made the decision. I think it's a field I want to go into for sure.
And earlier in this conversation, you mentioned that you may end up working in a media research firm. Did I hear that right? So really, when you talk about journalism and sociology, you're really kind of struck with the parallels there. It's sort of a study. One is a study, I guess, of human behavior. The other is sort of maybe a chronicling or journaling of human behavior. But really, a lot of the material, it probably overlaps and is maybe a lot of the same stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that was kind of how the transition happened, because I still wanted to do journalism when I took the sociology course. But I liked the class so much, I thought, well, maybe I should get a minor in this. And that's why I started talking to my professor about, okay, how would a basic education in sociology go? And then the more time I thought about it, the more I thought, the more I kind of fell in love with the study and the material. And I thought, this is what I want to do as a career, not so much journalism, like you said, not so much chronicling or journaling, the events that happened, but studying them kind of from afar. And kind of not putting myself in the middle, but still kind of being on the side and kind of analyzing it from a different perspective.
And working with a media research firm, what would you be doing exactly?
It would kind of depend, but from what I went over with my professor when he was telling me about them, media researchers basically, they work with other research companies. They work with like survey companies and people like that, and they go out and they just they do research on trends in media all over the place, any kind of form of media, whether it's social or entertainment or whatever, and they do trends on that. They do just kind of research on a lot of things involving the media perceptions of things, how many people watch something. It's not just that. Like, the research center he showed me does, like, stuff on religion and race and all that kind of stuff, but a lot of it relates back to kind of the media or how the media is doing it, or kind of how many people are tuned into a certain event or tuned into certain events in the world. Stuff like that is kind of broad, and it's kind of hard to really, like, pinpoint exactly what they do because they research kind of everything. But the main thing that they do is they work with these other companies who do surveys and you collect data, and then these companies send the data to researchers, and the researchers publish that data in these reports from the center. And then, like, when you're talking about how journalism kind of goes hand in hand with sociology, a lot of these reports are some of the data that journalists end up using in their stories when they want to be, I wonder what percentage of blank is blank. They kind of look to centers like research centers to find that information.
Well, and it's like journalism in the sense that it would never be the same thing. Your subject matter is changing constantly, so that would keep you stimulated and interested. And I have a background in journalism, and I think that people who develop a passion for journalism or maybe sociology, it's just that. It's always different, so you don't really get bored with it.
Yeah, that was definitely, I think, one of the things that ran through my mind. I've always wanted a career that was different or exciting kind of all the time, or it wasn't just a simple just sit at the desk and do your work kind of job. Even though media research is still on that level more than journalism, there's still a lot more opportunities because as a researcher, from what I understand, you could be asked, because a lot of times when they want to conduct the surveys, you're not the one doing it. They hire some other people who are more specialized to do it, but you could be asked to go along with them. You could help with the research, assist with the data kind of idea. And so that's kind of what appeals to me too. Like, yeah, there's more opportunities, but it's not as high volume as journalism is.
And so far as transitioning over to ASU, are you looking forward to that?
I really am. I haven't begun it quite yet. It's kind of this weird period where it's like I'm being told I need to get started, but then again, they don't have a lot of things opening up for me. So, they don't have the registration for I'm going to start in the fall of 2019. They don't have that registration open yet. And they don't have a lot of, scholarships open for that year yet. So I'm kind of being told to, start and wait, start talking to people, start getting an idea. But right now I can't really do much of anything until next semester rolls around. And I'm very excited to start going. I've wanted to go to ASU for a while, so.
And you're transitioning from Glendale Community College to ASU. Talk about the transition from Centennial High School to Glendale Community College, because obviously it's all a process.
Right. You want to talk about the process, or just how it felt, or
Yeah, I guess talk about the process, the transition itself. Was it difficult?
No, not really. It was one of those things that once high school ended, I was kind of ready for it to be over in some ways. You'd done it for 4 years. It was cool, and it was fun for those 4 years, at least for me. And then it was kind of like, oh, no, I'm ready to go to college, do something more, kind of break out of it. And then that's kind of the same feeling now at GCC. And it was a little hard to leave behind high school because, a lot of things in your life happened there, but at the same time, I was ready to start that new chapter. And now it's kind of the same thing at GCC, where I feel like, I've done my time here. There really isn't a whole lot of differences between GCC and high school in terms of how it's structured and how the classes are. And so now I'm ready to just go to that, what I feel like that next ultimate level, where I can really dive into studies. I can really be doing what I want to instead of kind of having to go through a lot of prereqs and stuff.
All right, Josh, I understand that you're also part of the Excel program, which has a partnership with College Success Arizona. Basically, College Success Arizona provides a mentor. We call them success advisors. Your mentor is Matt Sotelo. Can you talk about the role that Matt plays in your life?
Matt has been a really great help in preparing me for the transition to ASU. Excel has helped me at GCC solidify classes, and they've kind of helped me in a subtle way push me towards that transition I've been making in my degrees. But Matt's always been the guy who's kind of been preparing me for what's beyond, which has always been really helpful. And saying, this is he made the goal of going to ASU seem more attainable than it feels sometimes, that this is what you need to do, and once you get there, this is kind of what's going to happen. And I'm like, okay. And now whenever I go to him, it can be a lot more serious talks about this is what I need to do to get there. These are the kind of things I need to be prepared for. And he's a good source to talk to. He's a good source of information. He's just a good guy to talk to. That's about anything that's going on, and he gives really great advice about both school and personal stuff.
You mentioned your family, I think, along the way. Can you talk about the role that your family has played in supporting you and encouraging your college education?
My family has supported and encouraged my college education from before I was going to college. It was always like I have to. My dad always said, you have to go to college. You are going to college, given he never finished college himself. And he wanted me to definitely go and get that. So it's always been like, I am going to college, I am going to get my degree kind of ideal. And even when, and they've never really pushed me towards one thing. They've always wanted me just to do what I wanted to do. When I wanted to do journalism, they were supportive, and they were even more supportive when I told them about my sociology transfer, because I told them how much better I think it would be for me, and, just kind of I think there's better career options, and it just makes me happier studying sociology than I was journalism, and they were in full support of that.
And beyond the books, do you have any hobbies, sports, interests that you kind of use to maybe take your mind off the books or relax?
Oh, I do. I spend a lot of time with my girlfriend. We spend a lot of time together, and being with her helps me relax a lot. I spend a lot of time just listening to music. I listen to a lot of music. I go to concerts every few months or so, and that really helps take my mind off things. Looking forward to that, kind of looking out for that. And that's mostly what I do on my free time. And
so far as your college experience so far, is there a best part?
The best part of my college experience? I would say, I've always just wanted like the independence of the college experience, kind of the freedom to do what I need or want to do when I want to do it. And that's always been the thing that I've been enjoyed and looking for. And so that's kind of that freedom of like, it's really all on me, and I get to do things on my own and make these decisions for myself. And I think that's the part I really enjoyed the most. That and getting a more broad, open education from people who, are really good at teaching it.
And for students at Centennial High School and maybe other high schools and middle schools listening to this who may be considering their own college options, can you offer some advice?
My biggest advice that I've always really thought, I would say to somebody is that, there's no pressure to figure out what you want to do, because I know tons of people who have always struggled with their own, I don't know what I want to do, and that scares them away from college. And I think, personally, high schools put too much pressure on knowing what you have to do. I know mine did. And so I would want to tell somebody that there's no pressure. You know what I mean? You don't have to go straight into it, know exactly what you want to do, and go with that head on. College is there. I think especially community college is there for you just to feel things out, take your time, figure it out. And if you don't know, that's okay. You can just kind of keep working towards that until you do find something that you want to do. You
feel that community college has really helped to prepare you for ASU?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it has. Like I said, it was a lot. It wasn't much of a transition from high school, but in terms of like independence and the feeling of being on your own, it's made me ready and just kind of more anxious to go there and be a part of that environment.
Thank you so much for the interview, Josh. And by the way, since 2005, College Success Arizona has worked with nearly 1,300 students just like Josh and provided more than $16 million in scholarships and success services to help increase the college attainment rates in our state. If you would like to be part of the mission of providing educational opportunity to high-potential students from low-income circumstances, your tax-deductible contribution can be made through the Donate button located on the College Success Arizona website at collegesuccessarizona.org.